Edward Marsh had never believed in fairy tales. After all, real life was about taxes, bills, and grumpy landlords, not genies and magic lamps. At 32, he ran an aging antique shop near the docks, the sort of place filled with dust, memories, and the occasional customer with more curiosity than sense. Edward liked it that way. The shop was his kingdom, each object on its shelf a silent companion. But on a wind-blown Monday evening, as thunder rumbled in the distance, Edward's careful routine was about to unravel. It began as most miracles do, inconspicuously. The bell above the door tinkled, and a woman entered, her face hidden under a rain-dappled hood. She moved with quiet determination, bypassing the silver trinkets and rows of faded books. She walked straight to the back, where Edward was cataloguing old brassware.
Looking for anything special?
She hesitated, her gaze fixed on a tarnished oil lamp perched among candlesticks. That piece, how much? Part of him felt there was something unusual about it, but he shrugged.
Found it in an estate sale last week. I'll give you a fair price.
She smiled faintly and placed enough bills on the counter to double his asking price. As Edward reached for a paper bag, she stopped him with a gentle touch. "Be careful with it. This one still listens," she whispered. And just like that, she slipped out into the rain, leaving Edward standing in the golden pool of lamplight, the lamp heavy and cool in his hand. After closing up, curiosity got the better of him. Sitting behind the counter, he polished the lamp with a cloth and breathed a skeptical laugh.
If you're a genie, now's your chance.
He gave it an absent-minded rub. No trumpet of smoke, no lightning or thunder, just a sudden shift in the air, as if the room were holding its breath.
"You have called, so here I am."
Edward flinched, nearly dropping the lamp. Standing before him was a tall, silver-haired figure, dressed in robes that shimmered like heat haze. His face was unlined, his eyes impossibly dark.
3 wishes, as tradition demands."
Edward's first reaction was disbelief, quickly followed by a frantic search for hidden speakers. But the man, Genie, whatever he was, watched him with a patient, mournful amusement.
"But heed this. Choose wisely. Each wish sets the course for what follows."
Let's say I believe you. I could wish for anything: money, power, immortality.
Within the antique shop, the rain pressed against the windows, steady and hypnotic. The genie's lips curved almost into a smile.
"Anything, but know that every gift comes shadowed with a cost."
Edward exhaled, mind racing. He was behind on rent and barely scraping by. In that moment, the memory of overdue bills and a nagging ache in his chest narrowed his options.
I wish to be comfortable for the rest of my life. Enough money, enough security, not too flashy, just comfort.
The genie nodded, and there was no flash of light, no great thunderclap, merely a subtle warmth blossoming in the room. Edward's phone buzzed, an email notification, then another and another. He scanned the messages and saw accounts settled, old investments suddenly lucrative, an inheritance from an estranged uncle confirmed by a lawyer's note. As the implications sank in, Edward's shoulders relaxed. It felt anticlimactic, almost ordinary. The genie watched him in silence. Days went by. Edward paid his debts, upgraded the shop's broken heater, treated himself to decent meals. Yet comfort soon began to chafe. The shop's struggles no longer mattered, but neither did its victories. Customers came and went, but his heart wasn't in it. One night he found himself staring at the lamp, the genie's words echoing in his mind. Something inside him he couldn't name, a restlessness, an urge, pushed him forward.
My second wish,
Edward said aloud. In moments, the genie was there, listening.
I wish
Edward paused, choosing his words carefully.
to know what I truly want most in life. Give me clarity. Let me understand my deepest desire.
The genie's eyes flickered, as if approving of the wish.
"So be it."
Edward felt a strange sensation, as though his mind's dusty corners were swept clean. In a rush, memories flooded him. Childhood afternoons spent painting, the thrill of creating something new, a longing for connection deeper than casual conversation, and a bittersweet memory of a friend lost to distance and pride. He realized then that comfort had numbed him, but art and kinship had always set his spirit blazing. He spent the next days painting and reconnecting with old friends. He hosted gatherings at the shop, filling the rooms with laughter and stories, color and life. For the first time in years, he felt alive, not just safe. But the third wish loomed. Edward considered wishing for fame, or a second chance with the friend he'd lost, or even more years to pursue his dreams. But as he thought of the genie's warning, the shadow behind every gift, an idea took root. One evening, with rain tapping softly at the window and color still smudged on his fingers, Edward summoned the genie for the last time. "My final wish," he said quietly, watching the lamplight shimmer in the genie's eyes,
"is to release you. I want you to have your own freedom back, just as I have found mine."
The genie straightened, taken aback. For the first time, he looked human, hope sparkling in his dark gaze.
You have chosen well.
The genie murmured. A quiet glow filled the room, gentle and golden. The genie bowed deeply and then was simply gone, leaving behind the lamp, now cool, empty, just an antique once more. Edward placed it back on the shelf, right between two well-thumbed books, and smiled. Outside, the rain cleared to reveal a hidden moon. Inside, life went on, messy, unpredictable, and more wonderful than any fairy tale. And Edward, for the first time, wished for nothing at all.